Hey guys! Welcome to another episode of Sailing Ocean Air. We are Weekend Rocks and we actually sold everything back in the Netherlands to follow our biggest dream, exploring the world by sailboat. This week we sailed the final nautical miles for this season and arrive on Sicily. And along the way we get hit by an unexpected storm, we struggle to dock the boat into the bird, and end up on a bench of a closed restaurant in the middle of the night. But first, let's start the day by picking up anchor and see what we've managed to catch. We've got some old chain that was chilling on the seabed. To be honest, I actually didn't know what I should do. Should I drop the anchor or try to get it off with my bare hands, or should I jump into the water? Everything is new, so I don't know. So I decided to drop the anchor back into the water thinking it would get off, but that didn't work. Then I tried to get it off with my hands, but I couldn't reach it. So I was like, okay, what now? And that's when Vic told me I should get the boat hook.
Boothaak.
Boothaak, ja, dat is een goeie. And as you can see, I was clearly struggling, so I finally asked Vic for help and he fixed it within 1.3 seconds. Alright, we're free now, let's sail to Volcano. It was our last night on anchor before leaving this fantastic life for living in the marina on Sicily for the next 7 months to upgrade our boat. We enjoyed the afternoon by swimming and tanning and then made ourselves ready for a night out. Just a small side note, we don't have a water maker yet and our entire water supply of 700 liters had to last us 13 days. That's for showers, dishes, laundry, all of it. So on the final night I finally washed my hair and I couldn't be happier. And then we went to the small town of Volcano to get ourselves a delicious pizza and just enjoy our last night living our best lives. I had the best pizza ever. Okay guys, now that I'm editing this video, I see that we don't have a lot of footage from what actually happened. It all happened quite suddenly and also we only had one waterproof camera at the time, so yeah, there wasn't just much chance to film what happened. So I'm gonna talk you through it and ask you to use your imagination a bit for this one. Okay, so this is what actually happened. We were working on our laptops when it started to drizzle. We noticed dark clouds rolling in, so we took the laptops inside. And according to Windy, the storm was supposed to pass south of Sicily, but clearly it didn't. And then everything escalated fast. One massive gust of wind ripped the Bimini loose at one end. Our neighbor's anchor broke free, leaving them literally stranded. I went up the bow, trying to keep an eye on the anchor and to let some more anchor chain out. But I couldn't keep my balance as the boat was pitching violently. Vic stayed at the helm in case our own anchor let go and we had to power straight out to sea. And to make things even more surreal, There was an elderly couple swimming right over our anchor, in the middle of the storm, while I was letting more chain out. It was pure chaos, but somehow structured chaos, if that makes any sense. In the end, everything turned out fine for us. Honestly, it couldn't have gone better. In that moment, my adrenaline was so high that I wasn't even scared of what could go wrong. Instead, I felt strangely brave, and I knew we were going to be okay. And a big part of this was Wick, who in moments like this becomes incredibly calm and focused, and yeah, he just knows exactly how to handle this kind of situations. Once the storm had passed, we left the anchorage and moved on.
You think I'm pretty?
We are now on our way to the marina on Sicily. It's 22 nautical miles, so it took us about 4.5 hours.
I think we need some sailing shoes.
Once we arrived, we anchored the boat nearby and got in the dinghy to see where we had to dock the boat.
We've made it to Sicily. Currently we have the boat anchored over there. And we are in the dinghy to check out the berth because it's our first time that we're actually gonna put the boat in a berth by ourselves. So let's see.
Even though Vic had a lot of experience with motorboating, this was still quite scary because it was the first time docking such a big boat. Our berth is here, so we have to do the last part in reverse. Okay, let's go, we've got this. We don't have dinghy davits yet, so we prepared the dinghy like this to make sure it was in the right position once we docked the boat. And look at all the red dots here. Those are submerged rocks.
This is not an ideal berth to dock a boat like this for the first time, especially with the dinghy behind us. We were now over 17 meters long, and with a draft of 2.3 meters, we did not have a lot of space between all the mooring lines. I should not have stopped here. We had over 20 knots of wind straight on the beam, so we were pushed to the port side a bit. But overall, I think it went well for the first time.
After 2 weeks on the water, we arrived on Sicily. In the meantime, our car and rental trailer were still in Castellamare di Stabia. The trailer had to be returned to the Netherlands as soon as possible. So we booked ferry tickets to Napoli, but everything about that trip went wrong. There were train strikes, and when we finally arrived in Termini Imerese, we had to wait for 5 hours before we could board the ferry, so we waited in a bar nearby. Are you happy?
Yes, cheapest cappuccino ever, 50 cents.
I want a taste test.
Strong.
Yeah? Yeah, good cappuccino?
Yeah, it's more like an espresso with a little bit of milk, but it's better. For 50 cents.
Well, cheers.
It's caffeine.
Once at the harbor, we found out the ferry went to a different city because of the wind. Then at 1 AM we had to pay 200 euros for a taxi to get to Palermo. And when we arrived, the security told us the ferry wasn't leaving at all, and nobody knew when it would. So in the meantime it was 2 AM. Public transport wouldn't run again until 7 in the morning. It was cold, it was raining, and we were out of food. We walked 15 kilometers through the city looking for a hotel, but unfortunately we had no luck. So we spent the night on a bench outside a closed restaurant, trying to shelter from the wind and the rain. The ferry ticket company wasn't reachable, so at 7 in the morning we took the first train back to Capo d'Orlando. At 10 they finally opened, so we called them and it turned out that the agent put the wrong country code in front of our phone number. So that's why we didn't get notified. And then they also told us that the ferry was going to leave this evening. So we had 3 hours to sleep and then again had to go back to Palermo. Oh wow! Oh, this is cute.
Kijken.
We're all soaking wet. It looks like I peed my pants, but then the other way around. By the time we finally reached the car, we were completely soaked, including the clothes we had with us. So we drove straight to the cheapest clothing store we could find just to get something dry. This girl here looks absolutely fabulous, doesn't she? Thank you so much for staying here till the end of the episode. We'll see you next week when we go back to Sicily for the winter and start the boat work. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, don't forget to hype, and of course subscribe to our channel.